Hello again, gamers. Welcome to Tabletop Mic Drop, our new vlog series. That's right, this is a vlogcast. It's like a podcast, but with video, so you can see our pretty faces looking at you. And we are going to be covering all sorts of gaming and geek culture topics. So this series is brought to you by the Board Game Kaptain and Nerfenstein, aka Girly Gamer. And I'm going to introduce everybody here. Here is Angela from Nerfenstein, aka the Girly Gamer.
Hello.
And then here is Lynn from the Board Game Kaptain.
Hello.
And of course there is me, and I am Josh from the Board Game Kaptain. So first thing is we've got a bunch of news flowing in. Gamma's going on right now as we're recording this. And wow, has there been a lot of announcements. So we've all been I'm sure we've all been seeing this. So a couple things I want to mention that we had all talked about a little bit before we were doing this episode that we're all kind of, at least to one degree or another, want to see how they go, are a bit interested in. Okay, so first off, we've got Osprey Games, who just released a Judge Dredd themed game earlier this year, is got another Osprey game, another Judge Dredd game coming called Judge Dredd Helter Skelter. It is also going to be using the Wildlands card series that they've been using for a lot of their recent games, though I have not tried it yet. But it's Judge Dredd, so I know Lynn would be interested.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, they're going to have some crossover with a lot of the other characters from the old 2000 AD graphic novels and comics, which is kind of cool. So there's apparently a lot of different people, I guess, are going to fall through holes in space-time and wind up in Mega City 1?
Yeah. I wish you told me this beforehand. I would have set up the laptop in front of all my Judge Dredd books.
You do have quite a bit. You've got
I have an entire bookshelf.
Nothing but Judge. You do. So we're gonna have to definitely keep an eye out for that one. And also, I was gonna say we haven't gotten the last one, which I know you would like, but maybe we'll get that at Gen Con this year. So any other thoughts? Anybody got thoughts on this new Judge Dredd game coming out?
I'm probably gonna buy it.
I hope Judge Anderson's in there.
So the next one is another graphic novel-based game. It is called Aquacorn Cove. I'm not familiar with this graphic novel series at all. Apparently, it involves unicorn fish that swim around.
Okay, that makes more sense than I was thinking. Like the grain corn, like aquacorn.
No. Yeah, it shows like a weird kind of unicorn water horse hybrid on the cover. So I'm thinking, yeah, some kind of mythical creature. But the game itself is apparently a co-op game where you do village building. You got to grow your village, but you also have to manage and restore the health of the reef and the reef ecosystem. So kind of educational, I guess, along with Enter. Which we've been seeing a lot more of these games where they try to also promote a message. I think that's kind of cool. So now, anybody interested in this one? No. Oh, all right. Now this one I know some people are gonna be interested in. Okay, so Lanterns is doing a sequel game to Lanterns. Lanterns Dice Lights in the Sky. It's gonna be a roll and write game, which it's crazy. I mean, roll and write games are coming back like in huge force now. And this one is going to be a Lanterns-themed roll and write game. The cover shows the people, after they put out the lanterns, are sitting down and watching fireworks go off. So I'm guessing that's kind of what the theme it's going with now, is fireworks display rather than a lanterns display. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, me too.
Tentative. So, is everybody here a fan of lanterns?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they turn it into a roll and write.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be weird. It could be good, but it could be... I was a little disappointed with the Lanterns expansion. Angela, did you try the Lanterns expansion?
I did, yeah, and then I went back to playing Lanterns.
Which was me too. We were like, I played it and I was like, this doesn't add anything to the experience. I went back to playing it by itself also, exactly the same. So then, let's see. Unlock is releasing 3 more Unlock modules. The new ones are going to be Sherlock Holmes themed, Alice in Wonderland themed, and classic video game themes. So, okay, I have not bought any of the unlocks yet, but actually these might get me to do so. So Sherlock Holmes one is just called Sherlock Holmes. The Alice in Wonderlands one is called In Pursuit of the White Rabbit. And the classic video game one, which I'm super excited about, is called Insert Coin.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one as well.
That is a cool theme. Now, Lynn, you I'm guessing.
I would probably play the Alice in Wonderland one out of those three.
Okay. I was figuring. So now, also, if anyone who remembers Robotech from way back in the day, there is a new Robotech card game coming out called Robotech Crisis Point. Now, this is being made by a company I've never heard of called Solar Flare. But it's Robotech, and Robotech is cool. I mean, giant robots blowing each other up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not much more to say about that. And then I saved the biggest one for last, because I know at least Angela and I are excited about this. Gale Force 9 has announced a reprint of classic Dune board game.
Yes!
I have been obsessed with Dune since I was a kid, and I saw the movie first, and then, so...
Aren't they remaking the movie too?
They are remaking. I think that's part of why this is going on.
Oh, okay.
They're going to reboot the movie and try to do a whole series and do the sequels as well. But the classic board game is one that a lot of people have talked about has been amazing. I have a personal story about this. So back in about 1993, I was in this rather big but hidden game store in New York City called Neutral Ground, which if we have anybody watching who's from New York will know Neutral Ground. It was like the big place to go play Magic the Gathering in 1993 in New York City. And they were hidden. It was weird. Like, there was a building with no sign, and you went in and you buzzed the floor on the elevator, and someone would go, yeah? You're like, I'm here to come to Neutral Ground. I'm like, okay. And they send the elevator down. And then you go up, and the whole floor of the building was the store. It was so weird. You had no idea it was there unless you specifically knew it was there. It was so bizarre. But I was in that store, and I was shopping around, and they had a French import of Dune with a translated computer printout of the rules. And I was like, I'll wait till they release it in English. And I never got a copy. And I should have got that copy. So, anybody else got anything on the new game releases?
No.
Nope.
No, I'm out of the loop a wee bit.
A wee bit. Yeah, I was gonna say you've been taking like a break from some of the. You said you weren't buying any new games for a little bit, but so okay. Now, how about what has everybody been playing lately? We'll start with you guys because I've been doing too much of the talking. Angela, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing some older games. So, and the reason for that is quite simply, I haven't had time to learn anything new. So I've played, what have I played in the last couple of weeks? The River, which is super easy to play. What else did I play? I played something sitting right here. Oh, Thebes. If you haven't played Thebes, that's a good one. It's old. I think it's from like maybe 2008 or something like that. But
I've heard good things. I've never
really
tried
cool.
it.
Yeah, it's just weird, like the mechanics on it, all based around time. So the more you do, the more time it takes up.
Oh,
pretty clever. Yeah.
So
and other than that,
is a resource, or is
sorry?
time is time used as a resource?
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is. So it's all like based around an archaeological dig, and it's a bag builder. But the hilarious thing is, every time I play it, it's like the gods just are not on my side. I will pull sand out of that bag, and then the next person will say I pull 8 things out, 7 of them are sand. The next person pulls 2 things out, and they're both really awesome. And I'm like, yeah.
I know how that can be, and that can be so frustrating in a game where you're doing everything right, but the game just has it in for you.
It hates me, but I can't stop playing it. Yeah.
That's when you know a game is really good, though, is no matter how much you lose, you still want to play it.
Yeah. And 100%. Other than that, the only other thing I've played in the last week is this one, Rise of Augustus, or
and
Augustus.
The 2013 Spiel des Jahres winner?
Oh, was it?
I think so. I think it's got it on the cover there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's a cool game. The reason I play that one is my mother-in-law will play it, because it's basically like bingo, and she likes going to bingo, so.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, what are some of the ones we've been playing lately?
Oh, well, we played some dominoes.
We did play some dominoes.
We did, because I love dominoes, and you never play dominoes with me.
That's not true. I played it twice the other day.
You did. But it's been a while since the last time we played, because you hate it.
I don't hate it. I do not. Actually, I think Dominoes is one of those classic games that holds up pretty well till today. I just like so many other games better than it. Like, the thing is, we were just talking about lanterns, and everybody here loves lanterns, and there's very few occasions where I'd want to play Dominoes over lanterns.
Over lanterns, yep.
Yeah, because like lanterns is a replacement to Dominoes for me, and I now though the one thing I think that was really good about when we played it the other day, so it's so quick. We played 2 games of it, and also it's way quicker and way easier than lanterns to just get up and play.
Yeah, you just dump everything out and shuffle it up, and that's it.
And then so what else were we playing recently? Last week we went to my friend Cal's house. His son was in a bad car accident and laid up, and so we went over there for a game night to brighten some spirits and having some nice entertainment. We played Century. We played Century Golem Edition.
Oh, nice.
We played Stuff and Nonsense.
Your memory is so good on these. Yes, we played Stuff and Nonsense, which is fantastic storytelling, set collecting game. I love Stuff and Nonsense. We played Cursed Court. Mm-hmm. Which was great. That was a lot of fun.
I think that's all we played there.
No, we played Welcome To.
Oh, yes, we did.
Oh, I love Welcome To.
And yeah, that is I know everyone here is a fan of that game. And then, did we just play something else? Oh, we played Bill and Ted's yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, Bill and Ted's excellent board game.
we tried out Hannibal and Hamilcar, but you were not a fan.
No.
No, you were not a fan. I was liking it. I'm going to have to find someone else to play it with because you were not digging it. And today we tried out God, we've been playing a lot of games lately. I didn't realize until we just started listing them. We just played today.
Professor Treasure's Secret Sky Castle.
That's the one.
Wow.
It's a mouthful. That is a mouthful. That one is really... That was the biggest surprise for me of all the games, of a lot of recent games. It was not what I was expecting at all. Tile laying, area control, kind of spatial awareness. Very interesting. Hand management a little bit, but very quick. What was it, like 20 minutes? We played 2 games back to back.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now, what about, has anybody got anything cool coming up on their channel? Let me go to you first, Angela.
I am, at the moment, bit of a spoiler, I'm repainting the trucks from the Caro board game.
I popped in earlier watching you paint some of it, actually. I had a little spare time before going to get dinner, and I love watching you work with the painting stuff. You do some amazing work.
I think they look cool when they're done. The detail on them's pretty great.
I got to tell you, you have done some videos on your channel with your customization of game components, also with your modifications to Nerf guns to use as like cosplay props. And also, I love the custom components you made for Cat Lady.
Oh, cheers! I love Cat Lady.
Oh, I was gonna say everyone here is a Cat Lady fan. Lynn has us bring Cat Lady to the coffee house, and we'll have a bite to eat and drink a cup of coffee and play Cat Lady. We've done that a few times. That is a great fun game.
Yeah, I played the app like too much.
I haven't tried the app.
I was #1 in the world.
Wow!
It shows I played it way too much.
That's pretty amazing. I'm just gonna say. So all right, so we got some cool topics we were talking about. Lynn, why don't you start us off with your topic here that you had come up with?
Okay. I wanted to talk about board game burnout and how to get through it. And that was because I was feeling a little burned out because, we obviously have to play a lot of games for the channel. And I was just like, I got to a point where I just didn't want to play any games. Yeah. I was cranky.
And then okay. So what do you think got you out of the board game burnout? What helped you recover from it?
Well, a bit of a rest from playing board games and then playing games that you really love, that even if you're a cranky mess, you would still enjoy playing.
So one of the first games I think you played again when you started playing games again was Tales of the Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
which you adore.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely adore. Maybe I'm the lowest of the three of us on that one. So now, Angela, you were talking about recently on your channel that you'd been feeling a little bit of burnout too, and you were restricting yourself from buying new games for a little while. So, like, what's been your experience with the board game burnout?
I think mine was based on, feeling the need to be in the conversation all the time. So I found I was like buying games, if they were hot.
Right.
I was buying them so that I could talk to other people online about them. And then I realized I'm spending money on things that I might not necessarily want to play. I'm literally buying them for the conversation. Which you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have to buy things you don't want to play.
Yeah. I mean, I do research games a lot, but so many games coming out. Like, too many. You could never keep up. So
this kind of actually, we were going to do a different topic, but do you guys mind if we switch the order here? Because this kind of totally transitions into to the other topic.
Yeah, no problem.
So the other topic, and this kind of transitions here. So bottom line though, playing different games and playing games that you love no matter what were how you got out of your board game burnout. That's a bottom line for that. But this kind of transitions into this other topic we had here because you said it right there about how many games are coming out. Yeah. So this topic I had wanted to bring up is the current state of the gaming industry. So I did a little research on this. So as of this morning, there are 105,733 games on the Board Game Geek database. And that's insane.
How many?
105,733. That's a big number. That is a big number. And so then I was like, okay.
I would think it would be higher.
Yeah, well, I thought it might be as well.
Oh, okay.
Only 100,000? I would think like in the millions, but okay.
No, okay. But let me put in perspective.
Give it another year, Lynn.
Well, you got to remember, for a long time, there weren't huge amounts of releases. That's a more modern thing.
Yeah. I guess it was just like the same standard games like Sorry, Twister, Monopoly.
Yeah, I mean, the Royal Game of Ur, which is about 4,500 years old, during the time when it was one of the most popular games on the planet, the other most popular games on the planet were Senate and basically just a couple other race games, and they were really the only games anybody was playing at that time. Yeah, and for like 1,000 years.
Okay. So, I still think it would have been higher though. Maybe not millions, maybe like a couple 100,000.
Okay.
But Fair enough. Know.
So we're having different reactions to this number, and that's interesting. But also, okay, so there was a quote, and I couldn't find it again. I had seen it in my reading ages ago, where it was an executive from Fantasy Flight Games had made some kind of claim about there being an average of 10 games released a day, which is ludicrous right now. I mean, if that's legit, he might have pulled that out of nowhere. He might not have actually had the numbers, but I decided to do a little checking, and I was curious. So every year, Board Game Geek releases a list of all the new games that are either out for demo or for release at all the big conventions. And there will be crossover because a lot of times games that are for demo at Origins will be for sale at Gen Con. Games that are for demo at Gen Con will be for sale at Essen.
Essen?
Yep.
At Essen. But so I just decided to do Gen Con because Gen Con has the most releases, followed by Essen, I think, generally speaking, on most years. So 2016, there were 588 games either for demo or release at Gen Con. Mm-hmm. 2017 hit the all-time high of 729 games. So even if you discount the rest of the games that are released during the year, that's still well more than 2 games a day. 729 games for demo or release. And then it came back down a little bit for 2018 to 625, which is still 2 games a day.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. So one, yeah, like you were saying about how you felt obligated to play all everybody's favorite games. You can't. It's not possible. You cannot play all these games. You could play games all day long until you go to sleep every day if you don't have a job, and you still could not play all these games. It's not possible. But on top of that, and this is the bigger question, is this sustainable? Is the current state of the board game industry, with this many games being released every year, with multiple games being released on any given day, is this sustainable?
Well, what I think of is, I mean, how is it any different than like the book publishing industry? Because there's the same amount or more books being published every year, yet no one's talking about whether that's sustainable. You know?
Huh.
I mean, books are solitary for the most part, and games aren't. But I mean, it's still sort of the same kind of entertainment. It's just one that you really need to do with other people. So I don't know.
So you guys are both on board with this book analogy.
Books and video games, I think. Same.
Video games might be slightly better because video games can either be solitary or, co-op. So video games might actually be a better analogy than books. I'm just a book person, so I went to books.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out two counterpoints to you guys, one to each of your arguments, one to the books and one to the video games. So for the books, I'm going to reference an adjacent field, comic books. So back in the 1990s, Marvel flooded the market with comic books to the point where there were too much for comic book readers to keep up with it, and it crashed the market. And then I'm going to go over to video games, and in video games in the 1980s, Atari flooded the market because they had no quality control over third-party people making Atari games. They just let anyone make whatever they wanted, and there were tons of crappy games, and nobody knew what was good and what was bad anymore, and it crashed the video game market. Your guys' thoughts on those?
Well, I think that people aren't going to buy the crappy ones, but the good ones will still get bought.
But I mean,
I don't know.
It can be hard to tell the difference sometimes. Like if you're not as informed, like we are all people who do work on board gaming channels. We do lots of research. Yeah, we know what's going on. Like, but the average person who's just, getting started in board games, if a lot of them are garbage. But now, that being said, and now I'm going to devil's advocate myself, one of the things I actually think is keeping a lot of the real garbage from coming out is on one side for the stuff coming out from publishers. Publishers, of course, don't want to publish things they're going to lose money on, so they try not to publish bad games. They don't always succeed, but they try. Mm-hmm. And in regards to the smaller release games on Kickstarter, is if it's crap, generally people won't fund it. Mm-hmm. So that does keep a lot of the stuff out. Maybe that's what helps, even though there's a lot, most of it is good enough. I mean, what do you guys think?
Do you want to go, Lynn?
Oh, you can go.
Well, my immediate thought is licensing, and if you get a good license, it doesn't matter how crap that game is, it's probably going to sell. So, like the Labyrinth board game, for example.
Oh yeah.
I did not like it at all. I thought it was garbage, but I bought it purely based on the fact that it's Labyrinth. I've still got it, and I'm never going to play it again.
Yeah, so you're just holding on to it as a collectible, basically, at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, in regard to the official IPs, I've been having. I mean, there's still some where you're like, okay, they were totally relying on nostalgia. They were totally relying on the IP. One that comes to mind that Lynn and I agreed was not good was the Centipede board game.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It was awful. Absolutely awful. We gave it, I'm pretty sure we panned it in our review.
Yeah.
It was not good. But then we played, which we did a review of also, we played the Death Note game, which was not just good for an IP game, it was an amazingly good game. I mean, it was just fantastic. And Lynn, who has never watched any of the shows, never watched the movies, never read the mangas, I
can't even remember their names. I'm just like, I'll be the serial killer guy.
Kira. But you loved that game. Like, you asked to play that game a bunch because you really loved that game.
It's like Battleship with a serial killer. You're trying to figure out where the serial killer is instead of the ship.
That should be on the box.
Battleship with a serial killer.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That is absolutely hilarious. And then the other one, which this is a little bit of a spoiler because we haven't done a review of this yet, but Lynn and I have been playing the Samurai Jack board game, which we have the reverse experience with that. Lynn was a fan of the show. I never watched it. And we both liked it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as good as Death Note, but it's still a good game. Regardless
we also have the Portal game too.
The Portal game?
Portal.
The Portal board game.
The
uncooperative
Cake
acquisition.
Yeah.
Yes. Which, that one is so divisive. So divisive. A lot of people think I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh, that was just a cash grab for people who like the video game. And I don't agree at all. You don't like it?
No, I love the video game, but I never bought the board game.
Okay, so we found this game to be very divisive, but Lynn and I like it a lot. It's delightfully bizarre, quirky. Still, it captures the tongue-in-cheek humor, but it's nothing like the video game. It's this weird sort of area control game where you're moving pieces around, and what you want to do is you want to have a combination of effects happen that make you have the most pieces of your color of cake on the board, and then have any player lose all of their pieces, even yourself. You can kill all your own guys to trigger the end of the game. And if you trigger the end of the game, when you have the most cake on the board, you win. So it often happens that you trigger the end of the game by killing all your own people.
Oh, wow.
And it's hilarious. It's so funny. I've done it so many times. But like Lynn and I think it's amazing, but there's plenty of other people we've talked to who are like and it's got like a mediocre score on Board Game Geek. If you look at it, it's incredibly divisive.
It's got like a 5.61.
Yeah, but like some people like love it and some people hate it. It's so divisive. And I don't. I mean, because I really like it. I don't get that. But actually, this kind of transitions into our third topic we wanted to talk about today. Because we're talking about board games being made from video games, which is very interesting. But specifically, video games versus board games as a entertainment medium, because they're both games, but there are some significant differences, not just in the fact that one is electronic and one is physical, but also in the fact that generally you don't need anyone else for a video game, or at least anyone else where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, Angela, because this was your topic, and I'm sorry that I'm stealing the description of your topic from you. I didn't mean to.
That's okay. Yeah, well, I've been playing a lot of video. If you look at my channel, you can see that I've sort of moved away from board games to video games, and part of that reason is needing the break. But the other part is I play a lot of games with my partner.
Yes.
And work is out of control at the moment, so I have to fund myself.
Yes.
So in order to do that, I've turned to video games because I can, put the headset on and play something, and I don't need other people there. I don't even play online. I literally just play myself. So
yeah, I'm still playing video games. Don't get me wrong. Video games are still a thing that I'm doing too. But at this point, I generally do a lot more board gaming than video gaming. And when I do video gaming, it is often because like Lynn is doing something else.
Yeah.
I don't have any other, or I'm sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sick,
just lay on the couch and play Skyrim for 8 hours.
I'm not gonna lie. I've done that. I have done that. Or BattleTech. That's one. I'm obsessed with BattleTech lately. I've played through it like 3 times at this point.
Oh wow.
That game is amazing. When I'm doing video games, it's usually something specific that really, really interests me, and it's the games that I go back to again and again, like Skyrim, like Fallout 3, like BattleTech, which BattleTech now is really become one of those games for me. I mean, it's a turn-based, like, tactical RPG strategy sandbox universe game. It's amazing. It's actually probably one of the best video games I've ever played.
Oh wow, be cool.
Yeah, FYI, anyone who's out there watching, BattleTech is awesome. Download it off Steam. That thing is amazing. I am not getting paid to say that. I absolutely adore this game. I kickstarted it when it was on Kickstarter, and I am not sorry I did it all. And then I bought the season pass, and the first expansion from that came out, and it was fantastic. And I can't wait for the next one too. But then other than that, I usually, if I'm playing video games one player and it's not because I'm sick, and it's, I'm usually playing like classic video games a lot of times.
Fair enough.
Like old school Pac-Man, Mario Brothers, Tempest, Robotron 2084. Trying to think what else I've played lately. Oh, Bust a Move. Oh my God. Or as it was called, Puzzle Bobble, they called it in Japan. It was Puzzle Bobble and then Bust a Move. That was when we actually, I was playing, I got into a marathon of playing that recently. Lynn, what have you been playing video game wise?
I haven't actually been playing anything beyond like phone games during commercials while watching television. But every once in a while, I'll be bored waiting for you to come home from work and just look at the clock and be like, oh, you should be home in like 40 minutes. I'll just play a little bit of, there's like Letter Quest on the Xbox One is a word game that I like, where it's like an RPG. And
it's like an RPG mixed with like Boggle.
Yeah, you spell letters, and the letters hurt the monsters in the dungeon that you're exploring. So you kill the monsters with your spelling.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And there's like you level up your character. There's like an old man in the dungeon that you can buy stuff from. Like, I don't know why he's in there, but okay.
Yeah, I've actually sat and watched you play that game for incredible amounts of time. I don't know why it's so engrossing, but it is. It actually is. I watch.
I'm like blanking on the name of the other one, but the other one with where you shoot the ball.
Peggle
2 is.
Yeah, I
remember Peggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still obsessed. You've been playing that.
Well,
Peggle
I gotta get all the achievements.
Did you play Puzzle Quest when it was out?
We did get Puzzle.
Yeah, we did. We played. There's two different versions.
To that. Yeah.
I got annoyed with it because there was like you had a choice, and if you chose the evil way, it made it impossible for you to win.
So good.
So Angela, what do you think are some of the other than just being able to play them solo? What are some of the perks that video games have over board games? And then in the reverse, what are some of the things that board games have over video games?
I've been playing a lot of VR,
Mm-hmm.
so immersion is like out of control.
So what are some things that board games do that are just really better than what video games do?
Oh, the tactile thing for board games. And sitting around a table with your friends and your family, you can't beat that. I mean, even playing live, Xbox Live or whatever with your family, it's not the same. You don't get the same laughs, the instant laugh that you will get.
Yeah, and also, so I remember on the first Xbox when they came out with the ability to play it online, after it had been in existence for a while already. And when I first started playing games online, I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. And I remember the game that I got really into at first playing online was Mech Assault. I keep telling you, like Battle Mechs.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was playing that game nonstop. And then I'll never forget the moment that it started to go downhill for me, because I was making a match and a bunch of people were jumping in. And I was like, oh, hey, how are you? Yeah, what mech are you going to use? Yada, yada, yada. And this guy jumps in and he just like out of nowhere, he's like, what's up? And he throws out like a racial slur. And I was like, whoa, dude, chill with the racial slurs. And then he just kept repeating racial slurs over and over again until I canceled the match. And I was like, that's not freaking. And there's this weird kind of mentality with online games, which, of course, it doesn't apply to any of the one-player games, but with online games where people feel like they don't have to be, like they can be as much of a jerk as they want because you don't know who they really are, and you never have that around a table with gamers. Like, the rudest gamer in the world is nothing compared to the rudest online gamer in the world.
Yeah, you get brave when you're anonymous, don't you? I mean,
Some people
try
do.
being a female gamer. You know, as soon as you open your mouth, I haven't played online games with strangers for about 8 years. It's you'd open your mouth and it would just be an onslaught of sexist remarks. So.
I've never played. I have played online games, but I just don't do the microphone because I think was it Mass Effect 2 or something where they pretty much forced you to play a little like online mini game to get your war meter up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, but I just didn't use the microphone, and like I didn't care if I annoyed the other people because they couldn't, talk to me and everything. I mean, we were all there to get our stupid war meter up. We weren't there to make friends.
Yeah.
So.
But then, like, when you're playing around the table with people, and you sit around and you pull out a physical game, a tabletop game, a board game, a card game, a role-playing game. I mean, there have been occasions where someone steps out of line, but it's usually brief, and it's usually like everybody else goes, whoa, and then they stop, or they leave. They stop or they leave. It's very rare that someone just keeps going. Like when they realize they've crossed the line, usually it's like, oh, okay. It's either like sorry or get up and go. I don't think I've ever been in a situation around a tabletop where somebody just tries to literally tank the experience for everyone at the table and won't let something like that go. It's usually and also, well, it also helps that when we play, a lot of times it's specifically with friends. We very rarely go out and do like just with randos, or as we jokingly refer to them, rando Calrissians. We very rarely play with rando Calrissians at the game store or out. We usually have people we specifically invite over that we know are good gamers, that we know are good tempered and are gonna play well. Which, I mean, definitely the social aspect is definitely, for me, the best thing about tabletop gaming over video gaming, because you do kind of either you play online and you run into racist 13-year-olds, or you play one player and you have no social aspect. You're just playing the game one player with yourself, which is fine.
I like the one-player games.
I like them way better than the online games, but what I'm saying is that's the one thing that the physical tabletop games hands down have over them is that round the table social experience that you kind of lose out on those. So did anybody have anything else on any of the topics we talked about today?
I don't think so.
Nope.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. And that is it for our first episode of Tabletop Mic Drop. So I hope everybody watching enjoyed that. And let us know in the comments down below what your opinions are on some of the topics we discussed today. And we're going to try to do this maybe every 2 weeks-ish. We're going to try to do another episode. So also let us know in the comments down below if there's news stories or anything interesting that you'd like to hear us discuss. Maybe we'll take your topic and discuss it on the next episode of Tabletop Mic Drop. Also, check out in the description down below, I'm going to have a link to Nerfenstein's channel. I'm also going to put of course. And I'm also going to put a subscription link to both our channels over here, and probably a link to other videos or something around here. All in these areas. And
click everything. click it all.
And then, subscribe to Nerfenstein, aka Girly Gamer, and subscribe to the Board Game Captain, and hit those little bell icons on both our channels so you get updates every time we upload new videos. And give this video a like and share it on all forms of social media. And until we see you guys next time, game on and tell us about it.